All right, everyone, then watch this video here for Thursday already. Doesn't feel like it, does it? September 10th. I'll tell you what, today, coming into today, I loved a couple stocks, kind of like Apple, Tesla, because, the market was down big 3 days in a row, as were Apple and Tesla. And what I would have loved would have been a gap down in the market. But instead, when I have something, and this goes the same for individual stocks or really for the overall market, when you got a pretty good 3 day sell-off, and you get a gap down, that's a great recipe for a snapback, right? When you get a gap up, it doesn't generally work out as well, right? You lose some of the mustard, if you will. Having said that, I still made, I don't know, 1,000 or 1,100 in Apple, 600, 700, I can't remember, in Workhorse. And then I had some other winners. I don't have them all in front of me right now, but I had some other winners in LCA, I think. And a couple others. Anyway, it was a decent day, but as I always say, I never end a trading day without some kind of, hey man, you could have done better, right? Some kind of regret. And that's because we're trading the unknown. So trading, you have to get used to the idea that you're going to end every day feeling like a schmuck, even if you have a good day, right? And that never fails. That's always going to happen. So one thing I would recommend is don't dwell on money left on the table. Always try to improve your trading, right? But don't dwell on it. Learn to kind of laugh it off and then always try to get better. I mean, that's my short-term advice on that. Anyway, what are we watching for Thursday? Trill, TRIL, big gap up, closing below its open, but big volume, and a fairly strong close, all things considered. So we'll see if we get any kind of red to green or something like that. WKHS is just in breakout territory here. The one thing I certainly, and you should get used to looking at this, it's up 3 days in a row. So is it really time to start watching this long? Probably not. I'd like to see it come in for a couple days, but sometimes a strong stock just stays strong and maybe we get a squeeze. But that one is certainly extended to the upside, and so not one of my favorites going into tomorrow. SLGG had a really nice spike today, but then ended up giving most of it back. So, you know what, I put it in my notes. And since it's in my notes, and it's got a kind of a nice sideways base here, so you kind of have really good support below. I thought, you know what, I'll throw it on the watch list, but I'm not in love with it because I would have preferred a stronger close. LCA is one I mentioned. Another one, kind of like Workhorse, it's trying to break out here, and it's strong, but at the same time, it's really extended away from the moving average. So long story short, I'm not in love with this list going into tomorrow, but at the same time, I have a lot of confidence in the big group in the chat room that we will find some nice gappers, or we'll find some news plays as the day unfolds. And then maybe one or two of these stocks will give us an A+ setup as well, right? This is SFIX, had this big pop yesterday, gave most of it back, then today a gap up and closes green. So you have what I call a few catalysts here. If we break today's high, which was 29.25, tomorrow I'm talking about, if we break it tomorrow, then you look to the left and say, hey, right above that is 29.76 from that big spike day, and not that far above that is 30.44. So we have a stacked catalyst scenario, nice volume the last couple days, which lands SFIX on my list. Again, I only take trades, intraday, and I start with a watch list like this, so I don't hold anything overnight. So none of these are investment advice, obviously. HOFV, looks like it IPO'd back here in early July, and it's done nothing but pretty much sell off ever since. Pretty nice volume, relatively speaking, for this stock, and a pretty strong close. So maybe a follow-through day tomorrow. VVPR, this isn't pretty, but at the same time, it kind of started its run around $4 and went all the way to almost 15. And now you got a couple ugly days down, but you know what? It made it to that area that we like, between the blue and red line, right? So even though it's kind of ugly because you got people that chased it a couple sessions ago kind of in trouble, it's also coming down to some support and that buy zone area. So it does go on bounce watch for tomorrow. If nothing else, excuse me, you've got what I would say a recent high flyer back down in the buy zone, right? DOCU, I'm going to go to 15-minute candles and show you what I like here. What I'd like to see, and what I thought we might have earlier today, is an afternoon high of day break out of a sideways range, okay? This thing topped out, I don't know what, 5-6 sessions ago at 290-ish. right? And this was the top. And the very next day, there's its opening 15-minute candle. It never came close to breaking its early high. You know, you slide across here. The next day, there's its opening 15-minute candle high. The next day, it broke its opening 15-minute candle high, but, you know, 30, 45 minutes in, and never broke I still call this the early high of the day. It happened in the first hour. Never broke above it in the afternoon. And then today, topped out at, what, 216.25-ish? And I'll slide over here. At one point, it looked like, hey, we're finally going to get an afternoon high of day break. And I had had this one on watch, right? I loved it over the highs, and instead it rolled over. So we still don't have an afternoon high of day break. You do kind of have some nice support around 205. So I'd love to see some sideways action tomorrow, and then an afternoon high of day break. I think we could get a little mini short squeeze bounce. NLS, I think Citron came out with a, I don't know, $30-something price target, and it gapped up on that. Topped out at 15.39, closed at 14.86. But again, you have, look to the left, you got a couple potential catalysts above. And today's high was 15. I already said that, 15.39. So we'll see. Again, kind of far from the moving averages, but we're going to keep our eyes on that one. And I got a few more here. Chef. Nice volume today, and trying to kind of curl up and break out of this range. That's on long watch for tomorrow. EGAN, big move today and held up pretty well. The range on this thing was 1135 to 1344. That's a big move, and didn't close that far off of its high. So we're going to keep our eyes on that one. And then lastly on my list, LMPX, which kind of broke out 3 sessions ago, and inside day. So it's really coiled, flagging, whatever you want to say. Potential upside breakout. We'll add gappers to this list as well. And that's it. I'm going to leave it at that. Keep it kind of short tonight, and we'll see everybody in the morning.